Oh. It stopped recording as soon as you left.
That's what I saw, because it says, do you want to save this recording? So I'm like, I'm just going to leave it up here. I'm going to go black on my screen, and then you guys can do your, and I'll mute myself and everything else. Okay.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
All right.
This is easy. Look at us go. All right, man. So just run with it. You do a million of these. This is like in 5 years, you're the first interview we've done on a show.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah. We generally don't do interviews. So you just kind of get to run amok a little bit. It's all good.
I would have freshened up a little bit if I knew I had that kind of distinction,
No worries. So let me.
I might have thrown a little hair gel in, I mean, hey.
I hear you.
I don't have that much hair. It wouldn't take that much gel,
Trust me, I understand. It's all long, and I use it and flip up over to cover the extra spot. So give us a quick second to do the intro, and then we will roll.
The one thing I will tell you is I'm one of the unique guests because I don't have an agenda. I figure your audience a lot better than I do. I encourage you to ask any and all questions that you think your listeners might be interested in. I will answer everyone. I will not duck any question. I'll answer as honestly and openly as I can. That's our policy.
Awesome. Yeah. And so to kind of give you a heads up, one of the things that I'm going to do is I'm going to, as when I introduce you, I'm going to say, look, yeah, these guys are a new sponsor, but that we've never done, in transparency, but we've never done an interview because we haven't had somebody that we believe in the product like we do with you guys.
Yeah.
That's why we're bringing you on and doing this. So, we're going to be real upfront with them so that.
Absolutely. It's the only way to be.
They expect nothing less than me. They're used to my shit. So
yeah. I loved right away when I saw the middle finger, I go, yeah, this is my kind of show.
Yeah, it's the way. Wait till you hear our intro.
Okay.
Go ahead, Miss Randa. Hey, you crazy motherfuckers. Welcome back to another edition of Krazy Truth. I'm your host with the most, Cole. I'm here with the lovely, and somewhat sleepy Miss Amanda.
Hey, am I sleepy?
Well, you were just sleeping on the couch.
I was laying down.
You were laying down. You were resting here. I'm like fucking dying. Anyways.
I've been up since 4. Give me a break.
We are here to titillate, and so much more. But tonight, okay, so everybody knows how we do our show usually, right? We like spew knowledge. Okay. Tonight, though, we're doing something different because this is a very special thing because in almost 5 years, we have never done an interview before, right? Because as a general rule, what do I always say? We don't do like the podcast circle jerk. We don't do that shit, right?
No.
So the thing is, it's special if I'm doing an interview. So we are super excited because we have a special guest. Jeff is here, and I'm going to let Jeff introduce himself in just a second. Jeff is the president, right, Jeff?
CEO, president of Promescent. Yeah.
Oh, that's right. So now here's the cool thing. These guys are in the interest of transparency. These guys are new sponsors of ours, and we are so excited to work with them because you've all listened to my show. You know that when it comes to dick issues, there's been times that I've had issues, right? I'll call it like it is. Okay. And we know that I have tried everything from acupuncture to like meditation to like having somebody kick the crap out of me to make my dick. Oh, we've tried everything, right? So here we
even went as far as surgery.
I went as far as losing a nut. So the thing is so we're here because these guys, that's one area, and we'll talk about this of the products, but they work. Okay. And so we're super excited to get to have Jeff on, and we're going to pick his brain. We're going to run amok, and away we go. So Jeff, welcome to Krazy Truth. And if we didn't put this other places, we'd normally be naked when we do this. I'm just kidding.
It's my kind of show. I really look forward to this. I'll be honest with you. When I found out about it, I was thrilled. Then I came in and I saw the middle finger. Like I told you, I'm like, okay, that's my symbol of life in general. Fuck you. Deal with it. Okay. If you like it, great. If you don't, turn the channel,
Yep. See, I knew that our crowd is gonna love Jeff. Absolutely. So you guys have been we've got all kinds of stuff to cover because you guys have you've got a really interesting story of how the company came through. We've got your product line is insane. The whole gauntlet. I mean, we talk about wanting to have better sex, and you guys are committed to that. Where it's not just sex. It's not sex toys. It's so much more than that. And there's science behind it. This is the real deal. So I'm gonna let you start off with whatever would be your elevator spiel. If you were gonna just hit people that don't know, go, and I'm gonna get out of the way.
We were developed initially by a urologist. Okay, so we're based in science. I wish I was kidding you, but unfortunately I'm not. When you look around at sexual wellness products, you will see deer antler extract, bull testicle derivative, shark fin. I'm like, who in the fuck is taking that? Okay. I mean, seriously. Okay. But this was developed by a urologist, a Hoag Hospital, Newport Beach urologist, who literally said, when people come in with prostate issues, I got all these solutions. People come in, with incontinence, I got all these solutions. People come in with premature ejaculation, I'm like, you're on your own. People come in with ED, we got Viagra, Cialis, Levitra, which give you a raging hard-on, but at the same time, they also give you blue vision, backaches, headaches. You have contraindications that if you have heart conditions, you might die. You got to be really careful. You know what I mean? Yep. So there's a lot, and people don't realize this. The ED drugs were developed not for ED. They were for heart patients. So Pfizer was doing this study for heart patients, trying to dissolve plaque and open up the hearts. And they were like, okay, what do you think? And the patients were like, I don't know about my heart, but I get a hard on every time I take this shit. That's how Viagra was discovered, because it was opening up vessels. It just didn't open up vessels to your heart. It opened up everything, And so, but there is some side effects. And unfortunately, a lot of people don't care. They just want to get a hard on. Okay. So they will literally take, stuff like Viagra off label and without realizing the side effects. Now, another problem is you have companies that are supposedly herbal supplements like Green Lumber. Oh, we got these great ED products. And they paid massive fines, like $1 million fines, because they were lacing these herbal supplements with sildenafil. There's nothing more dangerous than that, okay? Because they're prescription for a reason. If you have certain medical conditions, they have severe adverse effects. You cannot say this is an herbal supplement and taint it with sildenafil. Of course, you're going to get a hard on. And people go, hey, this herb works. It's not an herb. It's freaking Viagra, okay? And that is really dangerous. So we went at it from a medical perspective, developed by a urologist. Our first product was a lidocaine-based delay spray for men. Because believe it or not, the PE dilemma is larger than ED. In fact, a lot of urologists and therapists will tell you that some ED, maybe 15 to 20% of it is misdiagnosed PE. Because if a man prematurely or rapidly ejaculates, he will develop stage fright ED. His body knows that getting an erection leads to an unsatisfactory condition. So he will literally develop ED because of PE, because he knows that he lasts 12 seconds and can't satisfy his partner. There were some lidocaine-based sprays out there when Ron went about developing this product. So they use those. Now, the downside were they allowed you to last longer, but they totally numbed you. They transferred your partner. They numbed her. So you're like, well, we're lasting longer, but we might as well go take aerobics or hot yoga. Everybody's sweating, but nobody's getting off because everybody's numb. The other solution, they off-label again. If you use the depression drugs, the SSRIs, they will delay ejaculation. Paxil, Prozac, stuff like that. But they give you dry mouth, nausea, loss of libido, suicidal thoughts. You're like, wait a second, I'd rather have PE, okay? I'll get a bunch of vibrators and learn how to eat pussy, okay? I don't need all those other side effects, okay? So he went about it and said, okay, we're in a situation where there is no good solution for PE. So he got together with this gentleman by the name of Dr. Tony Capomaccio, who was an inorganic PhD chemist at the University of Georgia. They developed a lidocaine-based eutectic formula. So what that means is eutectic formula changes the crystal structure of lidocaine from a solid to an oil aqueous. So when it does that, it allows it to penetrate the stratum corneum or dermis, which is the outer layer of your skin. So you apply it, and 7 to 10 minutes later, it's below the surface. So the man maintains a higher degree of surface sensitivity, and it doesn't transfer to your partner, but it still gives you that control. And it was revolutionary. So that product took off, and we did extremely well with it. So we grew rapidly and were very profitable and successful. In 2017, a lot of our customers were like, hey, I used to last 30 seconds. Now I'm lasting 10, 15 minutes. I need a lube. Can you guys help me out? I really trust you guys. So we went about and did a search, and we said, we need a lube. We came up with a water lube, and it took off immediately. It was successful. Then we added an aloe vera lube. Then we added a silicone lube. And I really thought when we did, okay, we're going to have to market these separately and really, have this, concerted effort to market these products. They took off immediately because a lot of our customers obviously are sexual. They're having sex, and they were just like, hey, this works. It's great. So then we added a line of condoms. Then we added a female arousal gel because it got to a point, I'm like, all the products out there, Viagra, Cialis, Levitra, Stendra, Trimix injections, all the PE medications, what is there for women?
Right.
So we developed a female arousal gel that was very, very quickly adopted and took off and was successful. And we're very pleased with that. We then, and I wish I could say I was a genius and we developed this, on purpose, but I was at a show called SMSNA, Sexual Medicine Society of North America. It's all the top urologists and therapists who are in sexual medicine. So I'm at the show, and one of the doctors there is like, hey, you look really tired. I said, man, we're growing. I go, it's unbelievable. We're doing really well. And I have lupus. I've had it for 30 years. I go, I'm really kind of tired. He goes, I developed this nitric oxide supplement. It's really good. You should try some. It's for decreasing inflammation. It gives you better recovery from workouts, better energy. You'll just really like it. I said, give me a bottle of it. Okay, great. So he gives me a bottle of VitaFlux. I try it. I go home within a week. I'm like, man, I feel less stressed. I feel, I recover better from workouts, better energy. I really like this stuff. And my girlfriend says to me, man, what'd you find the fountain of youth? And I go, what? She goes, we've had sex like 5 straight days. And this was 2 years ago. I was 62. And I have to say, sometimes when you run a sexual medicine company, I have to explain to people, okay, it's like when the president of the United States, you go, you're the most powerful man in the world. You go, that's literally, not literally, that's figuratively. You know what I mean? Like, I have to, like, if I go on a date with someone, they Google search before, I have to go, listen, I'm not exactly Johnny Sins. Okay. I run a sexual medicine company. I'm an average dude. Okay. It's like, and she's like, we've had sex like 5 straight days. You're like the Energizer buddy. I said, well, every relationship waxes and wanes, whatever. And like 2 weeks later, I said, this isn't waning. It's still waxing. You know what I mean? It was like, so I called the doctor that, developed it. I said, does this have any like libido? He goes, oh my God, absolutely. He goes, it's a nitric oxide product. It has L-arginine, L-citrulline, L-carnitine, zinc, and magnesium. So while it does decrease blood pressure, increase blood flow, increase circulation, help you recover, he said, one of the main things, it increases libido tremendously because it sends blood obviously into your sexual organs, and it also intensifies orgasm and everything. I'm like, I thought so. So he's like, yeah. So about a year later, I saw him again, and he's like, I got a question for you. You guys, we're having trouble marketing this because we're a small company. It's our only product. And even, we got to spend all this money on Google ads. And when people even come to our site, they're like, well, I never heard of these guys. I don't trust these guys. You guys would be great. And I go, oh my God, are you kidding me? Absolutely. Right. So we started carrying it. And again, I was like, well, this is a supplement. It doesn't fit right into our lotions and gels. This might be difficult. We sold, a couple hundred bottles the first month. We've had our best month ever, 17 consecutive months. It's insane. It works. So when people use it, they don't want to get off it. They use it every month. So that has been a godsend. But the crazy thing is, it has the same effect on women. So really? Our business among females using VitaFlux is growing. It also has another very, very distinct effect on women. When women are in their mid-30s, their hormone levels begin to drop a bit and they don't moisturize as well. So they have to use a lot of external lubrication because the hormone absorption slows, and that decreases the natural lubrication. This reverses that. Every artery and every vein in your body has an epithelial layer. Now, the epithelial layer, the purpose of it is to allow good things to enter your bloodstream and keep bad things out. When you're young, it's very supple, it's soft, and it allows the right things in, keeps the bad things out.
Right.
When you get in your mid-30s, every year it begins to harden. When it hardens, it still keeps bad things out, but it also keeps hormones from absorbing. So men get a little more body fat, they lose a little bit of muscle, their libido goes down. With women, that's one of the reasons why you start losing moisture, and you start having to use external lubrications. So VitaFlux has been insane. It's our second best product. It's the last one we introduced, but it's now our second best selling product. It just rocketed right up behind the delay spray. So that has been an absolute world beater for us, and we're really thrilled with it. So we went from having one product, and it was funny because when we first started, the tagline of the company was Promescent, make love longer.
Right.
So that made sense because the only product we had was delay spray. Then all of a sudden we had VitaFlux. All of a sudden we had lubes. All of a sudden we had condoms. So I'm like, hey, wait a second. That doesn't really do us justice anymore. So now it's Promescent, better in bed. That's our tagline. The spray is make love longer. The condoms are make love safer. The VitaFlux is make love healthier. The lubes are make love smoother, So now each one of the products has its own tagline. But to see this company grow, when I took this company over in 2011, after, Ron brought me on and said, hey, I really need your expertise. We had this big cupboard in his office with a bunch of, he was a doctor, urologist, Hoag Hospital in Newport Beach. And so we had this cupboard with a bunch of bottles in it. And that was our headquarters, so to speak. We're now in an 8,000 square foot giant freestanding building at the base of McCarran Airport. It's got 3,000 square feet of logistics, product, and 5,000 square feet of office space. And we have 9 employees there. And I look at where we were to where we are right now. And don't ask me why, it doesn't make sense, but little things, I guess, to little minds. But the first time I went into our new headquarters, I didn't realize that we had bought a lift truck, because we have these tractor trailer trucks coming in with 4 pallets of VitaFlux and 20 pallets of delay spray. And I'm like, we have a lift truck? I'm like, oh my God, we're legitimate, because, a forklift is like, in my mind, I'm thinking, hey, we're a legitimate company now. We have a forklift, I mean, I guess in the Jeff Abraham way of, thinking, all you gotta do is buy a forklift and you're successful, but the fact that this tractor trailer pulls up with 8 pallets of VitaFlux and 12 pallets, and I see this forklift and I'm just like, oh my God, I wish Ron could see this now. That was Dr. Ronald Gilbert, the founder of our company. Right. In an ironic and tragic twist, in 2013, he was murdered in a case of mistaken identity. It's just senseless. Some guy that had a prostate surgery 23 years prior decided he was unhappy, went and did some research and thought he found the guy that did his surgery, but it was a guy with a similar name. And he made an appointment to see Ron. Ron entered the room thinking he was seeing the last patient in the morning on January 27, 2013. And the guy was waiting in a shooting position and shot him and murdered him before he realized it was the wrong guy. And, it's really bittersweet now, because we're having this success and I am thrilled, but I can't tell you that everything we do that's successful, there's a certain part of me that goes, man, I wish Ron could see this. You know what I mean? Because this is his genius. He was the guy that developed the product. I just was the businessman who brought in the street smarts and the savvy and made it work. And I can't tell you how much it would mean to me for him to see where we're at and him to see the diverse product line and the success. And, he was murdered in 2013 and we both lived in Huntington Beach, and there was a Walgreens on the corner, or excuse me, not Walgreens, a Target on the corner of Brookhurst and Adams. And one day we were going to lunch at the Market Broiler, which was right there. He says, you think we'll ever get into Target? I go, I promise you we will. And we were small then, you know what I mean? And I said, this product works. Trust me, we'll get in there. Are you sure? I said, I give you my word. I'll get us into Target. And then 3 years later, 2016, we launched in Target. Awesome. And I walked into that store, the very store. And, someone must have went, this guy's insane. Because I walked over the aisle and I saw the product there and I got emotional. It was like, And out loud, I looked at it and I said, I told you, I promised you. And I just imagine someone going home and go, you're not going to believe this. I saw a guy talking to a bottle of dick spray. You know what I mean? Like in the middle of Target, you know what I mean? Like, but it was, to me, that meant more than being in Target. That meant that I fulfilled a promise that I made to someone very dear to me. And I tell people that it's even now talking about it, I get really emotional because, you know, you see stuff like that on CNN and you go, there has to be more to the story than that. Okay, there's no, that's just senseless. In this case, there is nothing. This guy was totally innocent. It was the wrong guy. He killed the wrong guy. And, you know, that's how I ended up in Summerlin, Nevada. People go, why'd you move to Nevada? I go, there's no coincidence. He was murdered in January of 2013. I bought this home and moved here in March of 2013. You can't run from emotional pain. You can't. But let me tell you something, you can remove the trigger so that 8 times a day, there's his car, there's his house, you live in the same area, there's our offices there, you know, there's the Santa Ana Riverbed Trail where we went running and riding the bikes. There's the, you know, the 24-hour fitness where we used to go work out. You can't run from emotional pain, but you can at least remove the triggers that you see 8 times a day, right? You know, and so I'm in the process now because I have a son who I adore, who's 32, and I want to be closer to him. I think he's getting married next year and starting a family and got to be close to the grandkids. So I'm buying a second home so I can now return, you know, because I've been here 8 years and I got very used to living in a state with no income tax. You know what I mean? And we're doing very well. And I have a lot of investments. I go, I don't think I want to go back to California full time. I'll never go back more than 49% of the time so that I can maintain this, you know, tax status that I have right here. But, you know, like I said, it's very bittersweet because on one hand, it's thrilling, but man, I would just wish he could see what we've done. You know what I mean? And taking that dream that he had and taking that product that he had and really done beyond his wildest expectations.
And that's awesome. I mean, the obviously it's horrendous circumstances to get there.
Yes.
The passion behind what you guys, what he started and what you have continued makes all the difference in the world. There's so many companies out there and we deal with this, we see it. You know, I did the Viagra, I did all those things that it's very sterile and it's very, nobody gives a damn. It's just, here it is. And in the lifestyle, in the adult alternative lifestyle, the emotional part of it and caring is a huge part of it.
It's huge. People tell me it's funny because we have doctors that go on and tout our products, you know what I mean? And they're so sterile, they're so clinical. And, you know, they do podcasts, they've been interviewed for these conferences. We get a little bit of traffic. When I go on, we get 10 times as much traffic because here's the thing. A doctor comes on and they go, how do you use Promescent, right? The doctor goes, well, you spray it on the frenulum and then you wait 7 minutes and the average person goes, what the fuck is a frenulum? Okay. So they then Google search it, they pull it out, they're looking 3 minutes later and go, oh, that's the underside of the head of the penis. Okay. Then they go, okay, now I can listen. The guy's done. They missed the whole presentation. Someone says to me, how do you apply Promescent? I say, you spray it on the underside of the head of the penis, which is called the frenulum. Okay. I'm not intelligent enough to talk over anyone's head. I'm a regular dude. So people go, I like this guy. He makes sense. He's passionate. Our products all come with a 60-day guarantee. Okay. They're free shipping. There's no risk. If you try it, you don't like it, you get your money back. And it's not, well, you had to pay $9.99 shipping. No, nothing. Okay. We have science. We have clinical trials. Our products have IRB certified statistically significant trials. They're not made in someone's garage. Okay. This shit is made under pharmaceutical grade manufacturing conditions in a class 100 clean room, you know, in different locations, Texas, Southern Cal, Nevada, different locations around. And it has pharmaceutical grade ingredients. We don't skimp. We do the things the right way. And it's funny because you go to our website, I initially got a lot of criticism. Is that a website where you sell products? Or you're trying to be a university with all those freaking studies and all that information. I said, I believe that the more informed you are, the more research you do, that all roads lead to us. Okay. So I hate when you go to a website, it's like, buy now, wait, before you leave, do this, 2 for 1, blah, blah, you know, whatever. I don't think that if you have a legitimate product, you have to do that. So when you come to our website, it is all about learning. It's all about, here's why you use this product. Here's how to properly use the product. And then if someone buys it, it's for the right reason. They really think it's going to work. And we had this continuity program. We said, you need a continuity program. I know in the past, every once in a while, I ordered some vitamins, whatever, online. Next thing you know, I start getting another thing the next month. I haven't finished the first one. I'm like, what is this shit, right? Well, you didn't uncheck some box. I go, what do you mean I didn't uncheck? I should have to check, and then even after I cancel, they keep coming, I'm like, whoa. So we had a lot of people say to us, hey, I want this on a regular basis, because especially with VitaFlux or our spray, I'm having, whatever. So with us, this is how we're different. If you want a continuity program with us, it literally is a box that you have to check. Then there's 2 other times that say specifically, did you mean to put this on continuity? If not, uncheck this, okay? Then at checkout again, it says, you do realize this will be coming, whatever you pick, every 30, 60 days. If that's what you want, great. If not, uncheck this box, okay? Yep. Then 2 weeks before your next shipment, you get an email saying your next shipment is scheduled to come in 2 weeks. If you want it to come as scheduled, do nothing, okay? If you want to postpone it, you want to cancel it, check right here. And if you hit postpone, how long do you want to wait? Indefinitely, 2 weeks, 4 weeks. And then if you don't respond, and assuming you want it, and another week later, a week before it goes, you get another one. Are you sure you want this? And people go, you might just, I go, no, we don't want anyone getting product that doesn't specifically want it. I'm not about trying to ram shit down somebody's throat that they don't want, okay? Right. If you get Promescent, it's because you ordered it and you wanted it and you paid for it. Right. If you are dissatisfied, let me know, go on your way, we'll go on our way, and we'll send you your money back. We've developed a tremendous sense of loyalty. And, we've had 11-year relationship with Emily Morris. You ever listen to Sex with Emily?
Yep, very much.
She's a very good personal friend of mine. Dr. Ian Kerner, people call him the nation's sex therapist. We've been with him for 11 years. Justin Laymiller for 5 years. Laura Berman for 12 years, and these things are enduring. They last because they go, we're really, really impressed by the way you run this company. You guys are really trying to help people. We're all about better intimacy. That's what it's all about. I don't want to be one of these testosterone knuckle dragging morons. Hey, pound the hell out of your woman like caveman, drag her back to the cave. You know what I mean? We want the woman to have the most intense quality orgasm, as many of them as possible. We want a guy, the same thing, but we want to do it in a way that makes people comfortable. They feel safe, that our products, we believe, are cost effective. We're never going to be the cheapest because we're not making this in the garage. It's pharmaceutical grade, ingredients under pharmaceutical grade manufacturing, but it's like, depending on which product you're using, it literally equates to $2 per episode. I never know what to call it, or encounter, each session, you know what I mean? And if you're yeah, exactly. If your intimacy isn't worth $2 to you, then you're not our customer base, okay? If you go, I'd rather spend 27 cents than go spend it, okay? Because you're going to be sprinkling lemon juice on your crank, okay? Because that's what you're going to get for 27 cents.
That's fucking awesome. I don't care who you are. Well, I mean,
just tell the truth. You know what I mean? It's like,
well, one of the things that we saw, because so when I had tried in the past Viagra, Cialis, every single one of the side effects I would get. I could fuck you, but as soon as we're done, I'm on all fours puking my guts out. It was horrible.
Not only that, I've been using, almost everything at one point or another. I'm very curious, Mm-hmm. I remember the first time I took Viagra, it looks like I was looking through a blue fish tank. I had this fucking blue haze. I shit you not, for 2 days afterwards. I'm like, I hope this shit goes away, okay? I felt like a fish looking through the ocean. Everything was blue, I used to get backaches, really bad backaches.
And allergies would plugs me up really bad.
Yeah.
Then the next thing, we had a friend that went down to the islands and came back with Mexican Viagra, and it's like, what was bad was, I didn't have the side effects that I had with regular Viagra, but we watched the guy because it came in, like 100 huge pills. It was like enough to fucking make an elephant heart. but a guy's like, well, it's not working fast enough. Pop 2 or 3 of them at a party. Then we had to have nurses. Thank God there were nurses. So many nurses are swingers. Love that.
Yeah.
But thank God there were some that were there that were still sober because, you know, they had taken too much. And it's like, oh my God, we're taking something that you're smuggling in. You know, again, it's not even in the garage. That's in somebody's Chevrolet. They're making that shit. And
Absolutely. Let me tell you something. I love sex, but not enough to risk my life to die and not have any more of it after.
Right.
There's no orgasm in the world good enough to go, that's the last one I'm having, okay? I'd like to roll a little longer, you know what I mean? It's like, but you literally, with some of that shit, I mean, even stuff made in this country, they have found that they're lacing it with, those are prescription drugs for a reason. There are dangerous side effects. There are contraindications. And they're passing them off as herbal supplements. I would never take shit coming from another country that's like under the table. Never.
Yeah. No, it just doesn't work. And that's one of the things we want people. It's one of the reasons we're so excited to have you on and have you as sponsors, is because a lot of guys, when they finally are willing to admit that they need help, it's like, then they'll try anything, you know, like you said, antler, snorting beetles if somebody told them that's what would do it.
Yeah.
To give people it's like, look, check it out. Try it again, like I said, risk-free.
Yeah.
Try it. If it doesn't work for you, okay, but give it a shot.
Give it a shot. I mean, it's only your intimacy, you and your partner's satisfaction at stake. I mean, come on. Yeah. I mean, it's great. But I'll tell you, it's funny. I have done a bunch of these swinger podcasts. Mm-hmm. They are absolutely our best vehicle. I swear to God. Because if you're in a swinging lifestyle, you have no inhibitions. Okay. You are like, I'm going to a fucking party where I can have multiple partners. I want to be good to go. Okay. Yep. I want to not be at half mast, number one. And I want to be able to last. Okay. Because I see a couple treats here that I want on the menu. Okay. It's like, yeah. So we did Carol and David, the sexy lifestyle, front porch swingers. I mean, we've done a ton of these. I swear to God, the average swinger customer that comes to our website buys like 3 to 4 products. They are literally like boom, 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 boom. I'm like, yeah.
Yeah. Well, the reality, and we talk about it on the show all the time, the reality of it is that when people, it's easier to fuck your wife or your significant other than it is somebody else's, because there's a lot of other outside factors.
Oh, no, not only that, there's the pressure. You're in a public setting and you go, if I don't do it right the first time, I might not have a second with your wife. You know you're coming back, okay? And you go, yeah. So it's like the first impression might be the only impression if it's not a good one.
Right.
But another thing about the Swinger Network, which I love, normally most guys, I swear to God, so now that we have women's product, I learned a big difference between men and women. Most guys, if they find something that enhances their sexual performance, the first thing they do is want to make sure no one else finds it. It's just them. They won't tell anyone. They want to be the biggest rooster with the biggest feathers cranking around the hen house so that everyone goes, I want him, okay? A woman finds something that gives her higher libido or better orgasm. She's on Reddit. She's on Pinterest. She's telling every fucking friend she knows. She's driving down the street with a bullhorn. Better orgasms by Promescent Vitafly. It's unbelievable. Okay. I go, we should have done this backwards. We should have started with women. Okay. It's great. But swinger men will tell other men. Regular dudes won't. But if a guy is at a swinger party or whatever, he'll say to other guys there, because everyone is there wanting everyone to have satisfaction, because it's not this same monogamous bullshit where it's just you and, you know, your ego's at stake. If they find something, they're going to say to their buddies, hey, man, you're going to love this shit. Because you go to a swingers convention, you go, there's enough to go around for everybody here, you know, multiple partners, multiple people. So there's not that feeling of I own this and I don't want anyone else to have it.
Well, and here's the other thing that goes with it. The reality of it is that if we go to a party, we go to a house party or one of our events, and I just lay the wood and it's awesome. I have the greatest sexual adventure of ever in a weekend. And she runs into 3 guys in a row that are having issues, which can happen. I mean, they're both are having issues. My trip home, the dynamics change, because at that point in time, she's not going to be happy on the way home. I mean,
hell no, you're ecstatic, and she's like, that sucked.
Yeah, every guy I ran into, and then there becomes the other thing, and guys run into it. And it's the other reason we're having you guys on, because the reality for women is when a guy can't get it up, even though we all know there's multiple reasons, it's human nature. Like you said, women think differently than guys. The first thing that a woman thinks is, it's my fault.
I'm not stimulating enough. He didn't want me. He didn't want to satisfy me.
Yeah,
And I
when
can tell you
that's
this
not
from
it.
experience from dealing with guys that have EDPE all day, every day. There's nothing more than a man who has difficulty wants to do than please his partner. That bullshit about, oh, well, he didn't want to please me. Nothing can be further from the truth. Nothing.
Yeah.
Okay. These guys, we have emails and we have testimonials that on one hand, they're great and they're invigorating, but on the other hand, it breaks your heart because for every person we reach, there's 1,000 people out there we haven't reached that go, this changed my life. I was literally asexual. I haven't been in a relationship in 10 years. I was just tired of disappointing people. I was tired of this. And they go, now I feel like I have a second lease on life. We have one couple lives in San Jose. It was so cool. They sent us this email. They said they'd been married for many years and the guy had absolute chronic PE. He never lasted more than 30 seconds. And he said, I just got to the point where I knew I couldn't satisfy my wife, you know, through penetration, that, you know, I'd satisfy her orally, but it just wasn't the same. I didn't feel, you know, whatever. He goes, now we're taking yoga because we have to get back into shape because we're having vigorous intercourse for 20 minutes a day now. And we weren't physically up to it after all these years. I literally was getting back pain and I have to stretch now and we have to get much more limited. You know, you hear that and you're like, these people have really enriched and changed their lives. But then you realize there's so many other people that are just so disappointed. And there's so many people that go, you know how close I came to not clicking that button and buying this product? Because I've, you know, and here's another thing that's frustrating. On our website, we have Dr. Mohit Kira, who's the president of SMSNA, with a testimonial, video testimonial. He's literally the top doctor in sexual medicine in the United States. We have Dr. Wayne Hellstrom from Tulane. He's the president of the International Society of Sexual Medicine, the governing body of the world in sexual medicine, giving a testimonial about Promescent. We have Dr. Larry Levine from Rush Memorial, you know, all these renowned physicians saying Promescent by name. You go to another website, they have a Getty stock photo of some dude in a lab coat, doctor recommended. The average consumer doesn't understand there's a difference between Wayne Hellstrom, the chief of urology at Tulane, who's the president of the International Society of Sexual Medicine, and some actor in a lab coat in a Getty photo say, I'm like, oh, because they'll say to me, you know, they both were doctor recommended. I go, that same photo that you said was on, it's on 42 websites. It's a Getty stock photo. You don't understand the difference between hearing a video testimonial by Wayne Hellstrom or Dr. Mohit Kira. I'm like, oh my God. Every once in a while you go, I didn't realize the dumbing down of this country had become so complete that people could not fathom that. You know what I mean? Yep. But we have to go overboard and stress. Look at the credentials of these people. We're in the protocol of 2,200 urologists in North America by name. There's 2,200 urologists in North America that have Promescent listed. What protocol is, every medical condition has a protocol which says this is what it is: ED, PE, allergies, headache, whatever. So they identify what it is. They identify what the cause is, what the potential treatments are. 2,200 urologists recommend Promescent by name, and it's the only product. And we're very proud of that. That's because we have clinical trials, clinical studies. That's because we spend the money, and, you know, we have quality control procedures, and, you know, we manufacture in pharmaceutical grade environment. You know, when I first started, people go, oh, that's all that overkill. I go, no, it's not. We literally want to be a cut above everyone else. We want to have the confidence. We want people to trust us and believe in us. And that's what's fueled our success. We have customers that have been with us 11 years and have ordered literally every other month for 11 years. I challenge anyone to find another company with that kind of success ratio.
Exactly. Well, and one of the other things you mentioned too, again, we know one thing about swingers, we also know they a lot of times are so terrified to go to a doctor and instead of going to their doctor and having that discussion and saying, hey, you know what, shit ain't working right. they don't want to do it. So they either tend to try to ignore it. They try to hide it. They try to
Self-diagnose, go on the internet.
self-diagnose.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's when they end up in the and I was there. I mean, I literally paid thousands of dollars for acupuncture for 3 years. So
They actually stuck needles in your penis, or they put them other areas?
no.
When you said that early on, I was saying every once in a while I go to get acupuncture because I had foot surgery on my toes. I'm like, that freaks me out. I'm like, acupuncture I'm like, you mean, oh man. I go, you're a bigger man than me, okay?
No, not gonna. Yeah, no. They opened everything else, but there was no, until I had lost a nut, they were not gonna touch anywhere around my dick with a needle.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I'd say, okay, belly button on up, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Upper thighs on down, but that little region right there, I don't want to see any needles.
No, and she wasn't hot enough to do it lower. That wasn't going to happen. So, but they won't go to doctors. I mean, it's like,
That's not just swingers, people in general. We
Yeah.
literally, especially for something this sensitive.
yes. When I lost a nut, I had testicular cancer. I lost a
Yeah.
nut. A very good friend of mine's a urologist, and he's out on the West Coast, and he said, "You're going back to make sure you have it taken out." I'm like, "Well, yeah, absolutely." He goes, "You would be surprised the percentage of guys that when they say they have to remove their nut, we're like, okay, and want to schedule, and then never come back because they can't deal with it." And ED and all this is the same thing. And it's like having that conversation and having resources like you guys to be able to go, it's like, okay, here's a resource to go with doctor recommendation, legitimate doctor recommendation, legitimate track record. The list goes on. That our goal, the reason why we're so excited to have you guys and be part of you guys is to let the people know, because I will call people out all the time. It's like, guys, listen, pay attention. Here's an option. Ladies, Miss Amanda just turned 50. She's excited to start using the products because she's not as wet as she used to be, just like we were talking about earlier.
Everyone goes through that.
Yeah, it's just life, but hiding from it does nothing. But here's the deal. Here is a great resource, a great reputable company right here available to make our hobby. Some people go for a hobby. Our hobby is fucking other people. Make our hobby or our regular life better. Why would you not take advantage of it? And we want to make sure that we eliminate the excuse of somebody going, "Well, I didn't know about them." Bullshit. If you listen to Crazy Truth, now you know. And
That's awesome.
There's no more excuses. I don't do well with excuses.
No.
Except for why I don't get shit done what she tells me to do. That's totally unrelated to anything with this.
But one of the beauties is, and I really believe this, is you have a setting where someone doesn't have to identify themselves. They're just listening to the podcast.
Yep.
And they can anonymously go do the research on a website. They can then say, risk-free, I want to evaluate this. So we're eliminating all those barriers, like I remember one urologist told me, I'm going to start doing these, TED Talks and these YouTube talks because, I go to different cities, I have these seminars and almost no one shows up. I go, duh. Okay, you have an ED freaking talk, you have a PE talk. Who wants to go in there and go, yeah, I'm a premature ejaculator. Hi, I can't get my dick hard. Every single person in the conference, is there. I go, and you're kind of curious as to why you have low turnout. I go, if you handed out plastic bags or paper bags with 2 eye holes in them, you might have a lot better turnout where someone could sit there anonymously, or you made it a costume party where someone comes in as Pirate Pete, with a pirate man, you don't know who he is. People just still feel shame. And
Right.
maybe it's because I'm older. I come from a different generation. It's weird because it's not like you did anything wrong. If a person has diabetes, no one feels ashamed to take insulin. If, a person has cancer, no one's ashamed to take chemo. It's part of the thing. And here's one thing that most people don't understand, which is really critical. Let's step out of the realm of problems. Let's talk about the average healthy adult male and the average healthy adult female. The average healthy adult male lasts 5 minutes and 42 seconds during thrusting and penetration during intercourse. The average female takes 18 minutes to achieve climax. It's called the arousal gap. Urologist therapists are very familiar with it. That's why there's 7 trillion vibrators in the world. That's why guys stop, start, think about baseball scores, think about dead skunks on the soccer field, anything in their mind to get away from the idea that, hey, I'm about to bust, I'm feeling, and if any guy will tell you at some point in his life, he hasn't been aware that, oh my God, I'm getting almost ready and my partner hasn't finished yet. No, not yet, not yet. Anxiety and pleasure should exist in 2 separate universes, okay? If anxiety interrupts or becomes part of your intimacy, it takes away the feeling. Anxiety is the last thing you want to feel when you're building up to orgasm, okay? You want to have unbridled pleasure, not, no, not yet, not yet. And you don't know how many people that use our product go, I didn't know that I really needed it. I kind of did it because it sounded interesting. Hey, I want to give it a shot. And then I realized that even though I was lasting long enough to satisfy my partners, the last 2 minutes I was like on edge going, oh my God, not yet, not yet. Taking that variable out of the equation has created so much more of a pleasurable experience. I enjoy sex so much more. And the female partner will say, I feel he's so much more present. Like before, it was like he was robotic. I didn't realize he was trying to concentrate not to ejaculate. I thought he wasn't turned on. He was like, and I was reading that as, let's just get this over with. In reality, he was literally trying not to engage and trying not to feel the pleasure so that he wouldn't climax.
And guys, I'm going to say this again, for everybody listening, right there was the key to make how many of us, and it's any of us that have been in this lifestyle any other time, it's bullshit if you say you haven't, have panicked at some point in time when you're about to hook up because you don't think you're going to be able to, you don't think you're going to make it last as long as you should. Guys, I've said this on the show a million times. I'm willing to admit there were girls that I thought were quote unquote out of my league. It's not that I thought they were out of my league. I didn't think I could perform up to what they probably were used to. Just like what Jeff is saying, I mind fucked myself. I mean, it is
absolutely it happens.
And if
it's nice to have that
you
insurance policy. It's nice to have, you know what they say about insurance? You don't need it until you do. And if you don't have it, then it's too late. Okay. Think about that for a second. Okay. You go, I don't really need insurance, and your fucking house is burning down. You go, fuck, I wish I had insurance. If you put it on the next day, it don't matter. Your house is burnt down. If you go, I don't think I need Promescent, and she's just getting warmed up and you're like, oh my God, I'm just finishing. You can't go, you may not have another chance to go back and do it right. And I always tell people that even if you don't have chronic PE, everyone goes through periods. There's other things like you can have a prostate infection. You can have swelling of the prostate, which causes premature ejaculation. You can have low testosterone. The first time you're with someone, a brand new partner, there's heightened anxiety because you're not into that routine. I does this, she does this, I do this, I lick her left breast. Next thing you know, she does, whenever there's a newness and you don't know, it heightens the anxiety. You tend to have a tendency to blow a little bit quicker. Also, a man who doesn't even normally suffer from rapid or premature ejaculation, if you go a period of time without having sex, you're going to ejaculate more quickly because you haven't had a release in a period of time and your body's saying, I haven't had one in a while. This feels good. I'm going to hurry up and do this before something happens and I don't have a chance to ejaculate. So there are people that use our product only on specific occasions or with a new partner. They haven't had sex in a while, or they have a partner who happens to take a little bit longer to climax.
Right.
Women are different. I tell this story and it's really kind of ironic. When I first moved here to Summerlin, it was in 2014, I dated a gal that had a hooded clitoris, and you would literally have to, peel that back just a bit to stimulate the clit. And it would take literally 45 minutes of solid thrusting for her to have an orgasm, vaginally, like through penetration. And I literally went, man, it's a good thing I freaking am the CEO of Promescent. I'd have to take a second job bagging groceries at Whole Foods for how much Promescent I'm using. And there were times like would go to bed and it would be like 11:30. I go, oh, fuck, I got a conference call at 5 a.m. It's already 11:30. Shit. I don't know if I have another whole hour, you know what I mean? And I had to have electrolyte fucking replacement next to the bed. I'm sweating a half hour in. I'm like, okay, And it was just one of those situations that there was nothing wrong with her. It was her body. It was her physiology that was the case. So then we ended up breaking up. We're still really good friends, wonderful person. And I ended up dating this gal who was a nurse practitioner. And I swear to God, she would sneeze an orgasm. Okay. She could literally orgasm 5-6 times a night without question. Digital penetration with your finger, your hand, oral, I mean, anything. I mean, there were times you'd be literally licking her nipples and she'd climax. I mean, she was just highly orgasmic, So I tell guys that the first thing you need to do when you're in a new relationship, bring a clean slate. So many guys are like, oh, this is my go-to move. Oh, this. I'm like, you can't have every woman's freaking different. I've dated a woman who's like, you can't touch me directly on the clitoris. It's really sensitive. I like to be massaged in the area, light touching, you know what I mean? Okay, great. Then the next girl you're dating, whatever it is, 6 months or a year later, whatever, they're like, bring some sandpaper and a industrial belt and hit me on the clit with that industrial belt with that sand blaster for like a half hour. I'm like, holy shit, it's tough being a dude, okay? It's like, you really and truly have to look at everyone and start from scratch, because if you go, my last girlfriend loved this, and you can't go, my next girlfriend's going to love this, because they could be entirely different. And each one is justified in saying, this is what I need. This is what I want. So a lot of times early on in a relationship, I'll say to someone, I really want you to masturbate for me. They'll go, what? And then they'll start, they're under the covers. I said, pull the fucking covers down. They're like, what? I go, the whole idea is I want to watch. There's no better way for me to learn how to please you than to watch you please yourself. Okay. Now, if you want to, we can fumble through 2 months of me fucking trial and error doing shit that you don't want to do. And you're like, oh, I wish he wouldn't do that without telling me. And then eventually I'll go, hey, you kind of, oh, well, I don't like, or I can watch you masturbate and go, oh, that's where you like to be touched, that kind of rhythm, that, whatever. And they're like, oh, no one's ever asked me to do that. I go, well, trust me, I'm a voyeur. I'm not only going to ask you to do it now, but every month I'll go, hey, I need a refresher course, masturbate for me again. You know what I mean? Because I'm a voyeur. I absolutely love watching a woman pleasure herself, because it gives me the keys to the castle. You know what I mean? It allows me to go, this is what she likes. This is the rhythm. This is the strength of the stroke. You know what I mean? Because women are so different. I think it's easier for a woman. Guys, I've never met a guy in my life who went, I really don't like blowjobs. You know what I mean? It's like, most guys I know go, I absolutely love blowjobs. Some are better than others, but everyone is good. Okay. There's no such thing unless someone bites you. Okay. There's no such thing as a bad blowjob. Okay. But women, there are some women that are like, I don't like someone going down on me. I have this phobia. I don't think it's clean down there. You know what I mean? Or it feels uncomfortable, or, I was molested when I was young, or whatever. And there are other women that go, I can't orgasm from vaginal penetration. You know what I mean? I really, I know it's great for you and I want to please you, but the best way for me is through oral sex. I love, so with a guy, don't go into it literally saying, I know the exact way. Go into it and say, hey, I got a GPS system here. I'm going to turn it on and show me exactly where to go.
Yeah. It's funny you say that, because Amanda's by, and I learned watching her, because she will say when she's going down on a girl, tell me how you like it. You tell me where do you like, here, tell me. We're guys, we won't stop and ask for directions, even when it comes to eating pussy. We won't ask for directions.
No, we'll because what most guys think? I wrote the book. Oh, aren't I fantastic? Hey, asshole, you're in the wrong area over there. You know what I mean? I'll bet you there's 40% of men, I swear to God, in this world, if you would give them an anatomy or a doll and say, identify the clitoris, only 60% would know exactly where the clitoris is. Yeah. How many men do you think actually know that the part of the clitoris sticking out is like 10% or 15%? And there's that whole nerve sheath that goes all the way down, that in some cases, if you massage that area, it's actually better because it's not as sensitive and allows her to have a more intense orgasm.
Most of the
guys'
men are happy to find their vagina.
Yeah, guys' egos get in the way. They really and truly do. I have this running joke. I used to tell people, before I took this job, someone would say to me, what's the most fragile substance on earth? I go, I don't know, some fine English china, a Fabergé egg. Now I go, the fucking male ego. That's the most fragile thing on earth. Okay.
Yep.
You know how many women go, my husband, my partner, you know, doesn't know what the fuck he's doing, but I can't tell him because he'll freak out. And you know what I mean? And I would hate to be a woman, because as a woman, you get into this syndrome where you have to be sexual, but not too sexual, you know, because a lot of guys will go, wait, how many you been with to learn that? You know what I mean? So I want you to be sensual, but not that sensual, you know, because I'll go, oh my God, you know, and guys have to think that they're William the Conqueror. Guys have to think that I'm doing shit to you you've never had before. Meanwhile, the woman's going, oh, you're fucking lame. You know what I mean? Like, I can't believe I'm faking this shit. Okay. I know you got a good job and I know that you're a nice guy, but I can't only put up with so much of this shit, you know?
I've listened to 11 years, every guy that's ever said she doesn't squirt, go, oh, I can make you squirt. And every time you just go, don't do that. Just don't. Just
Don't. You're
Don't-
not,
don't
this isn't
humiliate
about
yourself that
you. Okay. It's not about you. It's about the two of you or her. Okay.
Right. Yep.
One of the things that I've always really enjoyed is, as a man, you can get so much credit. Oh, you're so compassionate. You're so caring. You know, you're always worried about my pleasure. Oh my God, that's so selfless of you. In my mind, I'm thinking, I know that if you have intense, frequent orgasms, then you're going to go, I want this dude around. Okay. So you get credit for being Prince Charming, you know what I mean? And being Gandhi, you know, like doing everything. But in reality, you go, I'm about to get fucked better than I ever have in my life. I'm about to get a freaking blowjob for 45 minutes, literally, because she's like, I want to take care of this dude. But you're like going, well, I'm just a giver. You know what I mean? I'm just that kind of a guy. Okay, now get to work. Okay. You know, I mean, so you get credit for literally taking care of yourself. I'm like, I like that equation, you know?
Yeah, that works well. Well, I got to tell you, man, and I am excited for this episode to air, and I'm excited for the guys and the gals to hear. Number one, we want for you guys listening to the show, go to the website. Go to the website. You don't have to take our word for it. You don't have to take Jeff's word for it. Go to the website.
The proof is in the pudding.
Exactly. Try it. You've got 60 days. Try it. If you don't like it, return it. But you're going to want to keep it because you're going to like it. So go, both of you.
There's no risk. There's no risk.
Yeah.
One of the things that I always suggest that I really like people to do, let's give it at least 60 or 90 days. And then let's have a little, it doesn't have to be this long, another little return engagement. And you tell people the podcast before, we're going to have Jeff back on. I want questions. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
You can do it live. You can have them read, because a lot of times when I go on these podcasts, you know, I get calls like a month later. I go, oh my God, you're not gonna believe how many questions that I have. And whenever I do like a serious radio show or some of the podcasts where they're actually live and have people call in, the people, they love it because they can be anonymous and they can get their questions answered, you know? And for me, I don't care about individual sales. I just know if we do our job all day, every day, at the end, we're going to win. We're going to be successful.
Exactly.
I will answer every question. And I'll tell you, my Twitter account is Jeff Abraham 111. My Instagram account is Jeff Abraham 111. Link up, ask me questions, direct message me there. I will answer every question. You can go to our website, www.promescent.com. Go to customer service, go this question specifically for Jeff. You will get a return email, not from the website, from me, my personal account. I will email you back. I'll answer every single question. It's important for me that I know who uses our products, how they find us, the satisfaction level they have, what additional products would like to have. I can't tell you how many friends that I have. They're friends of mine now that started off as Promescent customers, and now we're friends. And, you know, when I was in Southern Cal, a lot of them would go, you know, because I ask them, and, you know, we have a certain group of customers, I call them, you know, my inner circle, that we develop a new product. I send it. And I go, I want your opinion. Here's a product we're going to introduce. And that makes them feel like, wow, they really value me. But I do value. I want to know from people that are sexually active, what do you think of this product? You know, what do you think of this? Because we now have two female arousal gels. One's a warming and one's a buzzing. They're two completely different sensations. But initially, I said, which one are we going to introduce? So we sent a bunch of these samples out. And it was funny because It was close. It was like 55-45, and they like warming. So we developed that market. Probably have both. So now we have both products. And it's funny, we have some people that buy both and go, depending on how I feel, the warming sensation is more of a mild, just
Again, check it out again. It's Promescent.com. Check it out. Now, the cool thing is these guys, besides being available, also you can use a discount code. I've got a discount code, Krazy, Krazy 15. I want you to try it. Give it a try. Give us your feedback. Give Jeff your feedback. Look, I can't stress enough. We don't fuck around. We don't do interviews because I don't do interviews just to do interviews. We only do things because it's quality and I know that it can help people, and that's what we're all about. So guys, gals, sit down together as a couple if you want to. Whatever, guys, gals, it doesn't matter. Check out, go through, try the products. Like Jeff said, give it 60 to 90 days. Try it. Let us know. We want to know what your feedback as well. We want to know. Jeff wants to know. And that's one of the things. Here's the deal. You all know this about me. I won't work with companies that are just about the dollars. You're talking about the president and the CEO wants to hear your feedback, wants to hear our feedback. That's valuable. We talk about it. We talked about it at Krazy Summer Nights. We are a family. This is a company that operates on that same concept. We're a community, family. And so take this opportunity. If you have questions, let us know. And definitely we just want you to give it a try. And we've got samples. We're going to be reporting on different stuff because we've got sample packs. And like I already told you guys, I've used the spray and I do know how to put it on, and it does work awesome for me. So, but please check it out and do that. This show, okay, so besides just releasing, so you guys are gonna hear it normally, if you missed part of it, it's also gonna be on Full Swap Shop or Full Swap Radio. We're gonna have the show running again. I want everybody in the swinger, all 12 million swingers, hear the show. That's what I want. That's all. If we can do that, then everything's perfect.
That's all.
That's all. Nothing more than that. So, go big, go home. That's the only way I believe. So, Jeff, I want to thank you so much for coming on. I want to thank you. I want to thank your team because we don't do a lot of interviews. They had to help me out so I wasn't fucking stuff up. So I appreciate your team. I appreciate you coming on in the evening and taking time to talk with us. And
it's my pleasure.
We will absolutely schedule a time so we can ask questions and go that way. So
it's all about getting the facts. Educate yourself and make the right decisions with the right set of facts. That's what leads to long-term satisfaction.
Absolutely. That's awesome.
But I can't thank you enough. This is a platform that is perfect for us to be able to have a detailed, succinct message to really educate people. A 10-second banner ad, a scroll doesn't work because it's like another one of those. We're not another one of those. Give me the chance to show you that this company really cares about you and your intimacy very carefully, very dearly, and give us a chance to show you what we can do for you. There's no risk. If it doesn't work, you're out nothing. And our products are safe. That's the crazy part. There's no side effects. They're all OTC.
The only way you can lose in this situation is to not try it.
Is to not have better intimacy. Exactly.
Yeah,
the only way you lose is if one of your neighbors is using our products and satisfying your partner,
Okay, that wins. That's going on a t-shirt. All right, kids. With that being said, again,
have a great rest of the week. And I tell you, I really appreciate it. The pleasure was all ours.
Absolutely. Jeff, you're gonna learn this because you're working with us. We do it, we'll do it. There's only one way we do it. The only way we know how, the only way we will, the only way I ever want to, Casbah style. Out.
That's right, baby. When I saw the finger, I go, this guy's my brother in arms. Because my theory on life is deal with it. I'm going to be me all day, every day. Okay.
Right.
Some of our physicians that back us and some of our shareholders, when I started doing podcasts and all of a sudden it was like, I started doing much better than our doctors. People were like, I like that dude. He's real. So I was on this very, very popular podcast and the guy was like, this was in 2016 and on the, it was in California and on the ballot that year was the medical marijuana thing. So that they would just make it recreational. So you didn't have to go through that circle jerk of going, oh, tell me I have a migraine. Okay, I have a migraine. Okay, I'll write, So the host says to me, what's your opinion on, this medical marijuana? I said, it's about fucking time. I said, weed should be legal before alcohol. I go, alcohol causes fucking traffic deaths and, cirrhosis of the liver. I said, the only thing fucking weed causes is you to have a sandwich, listen to music, or fuck your girlfriend. Okay. I said, I can tell you from experience, I've been high many times. He's like, really? Because I was 61 at the time, was 3 years ago. He's like, when was the last time you're high? I'm like, yesterday. He's like, what? I said, I don't drink. I get high like 3 times a week. It's my way of relaxing. I fucking love being stoned,
Right.
So the fucking podcast comes out. This is a fucking big podcast, right? So the podcast comes out. So I get this phone call from one of our shareholders. He's like, do you really think as the CEO of the company, it's proper for you to tell people that you got high yesterday? I said, yeah, it's fucking proper because I did.
Yeah.
He's like, well, do you have to say it? I go, he fucking asked me a question. I don't lie. One of the reasons why we've grown and people trust us, I fucking tell the truth. Okay. So if you don't like it, fucking deal with it. He goes, well, I have to talk to some other board members. I said, fuck, you want me to resign? No. So even though he was like offended at first, he's like, wait, you're doing a great job. We're growing. We're making money. Okay. You can tell the truth.
Yeah,
I will never, ever fucking shy away from that. Another time I was on a podcast and someone brought up this thing. They go, what are the biggest inhibitors from, people having great sex? I said, there's 2 things. I said, lack of communication and guilt. I go, those 2 things. And they said, well, what do you mean guilt? I said, well, people, body image, whatever. And I said, another big one is religion. People are so fucked up. I go, having sex isn't a religious experience, okay? Right. It's just like eating or drinking. You get thirsty, you drink. You get hungry, you eat. You get fucking aroused, you get release, okay? This fucking idea like, well, you're only supposed to fucking have sex to procreate. Are you fucking kidding me? I go, there's a reason why you have all the nerve endings in your vagina and your penis. It's to fucking keep you, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Aroused and stimulated. And a couple people called into the podcast. They were like, that's blasphemous. You know what I mean? Like, I go, it's fucking true. Okay. If you don't like it, and some of our investors were like, you pissed off some of those evangelicals. I go, they're not fucking anyhow. Okay. I don't care. You know what I mean? I go, if someone goes, you just pissed off the Republican Senate Judiciary Committee. I go, those are 7-year-old white guys that haven't fucked in 20 years. So I don't care. You know what I mean? Yeah, I'm into my audience who literally wants to enjoy life and embrace life and have fun.
That's right. That's exactly it.
This isn't a fucking dress rehearsal. This is the real deal. Yep. You live once, enjoy it. And these people that go, I'm waiting for the next life. Well, you can wait for the next one. I'm enjoying this one. Okay.
Yeah. Go big or go home. There's no
go big or go home. Exactly.
Wow. Well, I appreciate it, man. I appreciate it very much.
And I meant that about people reaching out to me on social media, ask questions, direct message me. I guarantee you will get a response.
They will. Absolutely. Yeah. And I appreciate it. I appreciate it. And again, kudos to Laura, because again, I'm technology retarded and I totally own that shit. And so she made sure all this would work. Cause I'm like,
well, trust me, she made sure on both ends. All my employees know one thing. They have to make my shit idiot proof. Open Zoom, click, it comes up. Oh, there she is.
Yep. That's my kids are like, Dad, why do you do shit with a computer? I'm like, because it makes me feel special. It's
yeah,
awesome.
Exactly. Why do I do shit with the computer? Because I have to. I have no choice. Okay.
Exactly.
Once I retire, I'm throwing this thing off the balcony. All right.
Yeah. No.